Well, joining me here in the studio is Mike Proffitt. Yes, Mike Proffitt from, 20 years ago, I think, when we last interviewed you,
Yes.
the MUA, and now you're back as Manx Natural Resources Limited, and you give me this great presentation to look through. Obviously, I think we all know what we're talking about here. You're coming to the government looking to
Yes.
do things, but we need to clear some air here.
Yes.
You don't mind?
No, of course not.
Because, your name was a bit in its own way, wasn't it? I mean, we interviewed you a long time ago. Just for people who don't understand or don't remember, you're the head of the MUA.
MEA.
Oh, MEA. I know it's something different than
Yes.
MEA. We've got this massive new power station. Money was flowing like there was no tomorrow, but there seemed to be some issues with the way the loans were issued, and it was 120 million.
Yes.
Was not accounted for in the right way, or
No, that's not really accurate.
Okay, all yours.
All the accounting was all done correctly and properly. Treasury said that they had not approved the loans. My response to that is that Treasury didn't have to approve the loans. There was no requirement for Treasury approval. The MEA has, in the Electricity Act, the powers to borrow funds in subsidiary companies for purpose of building infrastructure.
It was quite a different world, maybe, but it seemed like there was no tomorrow as far as spending going, though, would you say? Or was that just the culture of the time?
It was fraught with difficulties. Enron was the main contractor, and they had gone broke worldwide, and that meant that if we weren't going to go broke with them, we had to do something about a half-built piece of infrastructure and a half-built pipe and all of that sort of thing, and we had to get on with it ourselves, because nobody was going to take on Enron's work, because they have to start from their own drawings, their own architectural designs. So we had to buy Enron's plans off Enron's liquidators and then finish the job ourselves, which was extraordinarily difficult. But we got it done.
But it did cripple the island to some degree with the amount of money was spent on this. That seemed to no one seemed to know what end in sight was at one stage. It seemed that
Well, you can make mountains out of molehills, and that's, in my view, what Treasury did, and they did it quite deliberately.
What to get you? I mean, because you became the fall guy, right?
Yes.
But you had to be the one behind it, right? At the same time, you
Yeah.
So you were the person to be taking the hit for it or not?
Well, they waited till it was finished before they had a go at me.
I mean, there's this building which looks gorgeous and everything, but so many people said it was over-engineered, more than we ever needed, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know these stories. What do you want to say about that? Put the record straight from your point of view.
Well, it was not more than we ever needed. It was not over-engineered, and it served as well. If that power station was not done when it was done, we wouldn't have e-gaming on the island. We wouldn't have any form of gaming on the island. We wouldn't have an offshore financial services centre. So it served the island proud.
Would you accept then that there was no checks and balances on what you were doing? That seemed to be this. The story I remember now is that you and the wife, first class, travelling the world, going to things like that. Things like that stick in people's minds, don't they? Was that really how it should have been done?
We were invited because we were the only power station in the whole of Europe that Enron had under contract, and there was some 20, 30 of them. We were invited by the World Energy Congress to speak in Sydney, Australia, at the World Energy Congress, by the Congress itself. So I gave a paper called An Island Solution. It was published by the British Energy Association. And yes, we went there first class because I was speaking the day after we arrived. And I don't make any apologies for that. I think we did the right thing.
So we'll have two sections. Let's deal with the old Proffitt, and then we'll deal, definitely, I promise you, with the Manx Natural Resource Limited. So two parts. Those days of the MEA, things you would have changed, things that would maybe weren't handled right. I mean, you got to take some rap, right? I mean,
why?
I don't know. Don't you?
Because I finished the job and the islands flourished.
Right.
I mean, I don't know what rap I should take, frankly.
Okay, but you seem to have left the legacy that you were not the best. Oh, how did I even put it? You know, it could be done better. Let's try that one.
No, there was a lot of jealousy.
Okay.
A lot of jealousy. Treasury were running projects. EPH Crow was a massive disaster. Probably people don't remember that, but government actually lost money, and Manx contractors lost money, and people lost their work, but nobody remembers that.
See, I was expecting you.
That was on the hospital.
Right. I was expecting you to say, well, you know, I did the job I was told to do and I got on with it. So maybe the fault was with government that things got out of control. Maybe they weren't keeping an eye on the spending.
There was a board of. There was a board.
Yes.
And it was a board of very experienced business people, and I did what they told me to do, and they told me to get on with it and make sure it gets finished. How
did you feel then when you were, you know, sort of ganged up on, if you want to use your sort of terminology, I think, isn't it? Were you ganged up on?
I certainly was.
Yeah.
And there were lies told, and we dealt with those lies in documents, and you know, those sort of things, they never get uncovered. You know, that's the problem.
Where did the fault lie then?
I don't want to.
Was it individuals or was it just
individuals?
Government? It was individuals. Okay.
Very jealous-minded, bitter individuals.
And we're talking about 20 years ago now, aren't we? So,
yeah.
Do you think it still tarnishes you today when you come forward with this sort of thing and you're back in the public eye?
Well, yeah, but they don't have to. They don't have to select me.
No.
You'll find shortly that I'm going to come up with a very innovative solution. If the government don't like it, they don't have to buy it. Mm-hmm. They don't have to do anything. They can go pay through the nose for somebody from Singapore, come over and do it for 3 times as much.
Your expertise, well, again, maybe in the next section, but you know, what have you been doing for the last 20 years?
Building wind farms.
So this is your thing. So before we finish this part, is there anything else that we need to know about Proffitt that has been falsely said about you, or things you want to put right? I mean, this is your chance. We don't edit, so I mean, don't get me in trouble with names, as you say. But are you a good guy? How about that one? Maybe not people think that. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you know, it depends. I grew up in Castletown. A lot of people in Castletown remember me as a lad on a grocery bike, and they think I was a good lad. Mm-hmm. I went off to America, where I trained in the construction industry, building hotels and casinos, as it turned out. I trained on Athol Street as a chartered accountant before I left. I don't know, I think the island's a better place because of what I did during the material years that we have been talking about, yeah.
And you stayed here, you weren't hounded out? You stayed
here?
No,
my wife and I had a serious discussion about leaving. Mm. I mean, we bought a place in London because my intention was to leave the Isle of Man. So
any bitterness still here? And of course, you know, dealing with government, I think probably 20 years on, things have moved, and you haven't got too many enemies in there.
I don't know.
Let's don't talk about other things. But Yeah, we'll do it in this next section. But you know, I've got to ask you because you're getting on a bit, and I'm getting on a bit.
Yeah.
But what drives you still to not just sit back and play golf or whatever you want to do in your retirement ages? You know.
First of all, I can't play golf.
Good answer.
Secondly, I've never played golf.
You know what I meant. Go on.
Yeah.
You could sit back and sit on your cruise. There you go.
Yeah. No, I like a challenge. I want to do this. Yeah, I like.
Not for the money? You love money, right?
Well, everybody likes money.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not going to do it for nothing.
Oh.
This is going to be a £250 million project.
Okay. Well, in part 2, we'll find out exactly what Manx Natural Resources Limited is proposing. This 200 million.
It'll be about that.
Okie dokie. So that's a bit more than power station.
At this stage, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Okay. Join us in part 2.